Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. With all the exciting hype surrounding Valentine's, you probably have some decent gift ideas swirling around, but you're waiting for the perfect one. Well, 1-800-Flowers.com is your answer, because right now, when you order early, you can get 12 multicolored roses for only $19.99, or double it to 24 multicolored roses for just $10 more. This is an unbelievable offer from 1-800-Flowers. This gorgeous bouquet of multicolored roses is a perfect surprise she's guaranteed to love. And remember, 1-800-Flowers is here for all your upcoming Valentine's needs. A dozen multicolored roses for just $19.99, or an upgrade to 24 multicolored roses for just $10 more is an amazing offer. When it comes to life's meaningful moments, choose 1-800-Flowers.com to order a dozen multicolored roses for just $19.99, or upgrade to 24 multicolored roses for only $10 more. It's simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. Again, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan.
I need some help from everybody involved in this particular extravaganza that we do, because just a lot of things, right? This is a big time. It's Wednesday. It's the middle of Super Bowl week. I'm looking at Billy. He looks like he hasn't slept in days, and maybe something happened to him at Guantanamo. That's a fine.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Guantanamo.
Here's a lot of stuff that's happening around here, okay?
Yeah.
This is what's happening. We got a marching band to nowhere. We're a flying saucer of BS. I just got a long email, way too long, from Lorenzo saying why he couldn't get a camera for the Super Bowl. And I'm the number of people that we have working on this show is extraordinary. The things that actually get done on this show is less than extraordinary. We can't get a camera during Super Bowl week. And do we have a planning problem around here? Do we have a general planning problem? Like
like we saved this for the last minute. This is something that should have been discussed and figured out weeks ago.
It's not just the camera that I'm focused on. I'm focused on you working till 7:00 last night. Putting in an honest day's work.
First one in a long time, maybe ever.
Till 7 p.m. So you came in here because you're coming in here. I told you, take today off.
Right.
Or come in at 10 a.m. and you're like, nope.
Super Bowl week,
That's
man.
what he's like. Super Bowl
rally,
week.
man. That's
he's
what we do.
That's been the slogan of Stugotz. It's Wednesday of Super Bowl week. We don't have a camera. Stugotz is like, Wednesday, we rally. It's Super Bowl week. Super Bowl week means nothing to me. But in the middle of all this is poor Allison. Let's check in with Allison at Radio Row at some point during the show today and see how she's doing. Because every time I walk into the shipping container filled with frightened refugees, I just hear her squawking about something. She's complaining down the line. What are some of her complaints?
She's in Minnesota.
Right, but I don't think she loves the setup that she's got at the Mall of the Americas.
I mean, her main thing is she doesn't like malls, she doesn't like people, she doesn't like sports, she doesn't like cold. And it's all of that together.
And she doesn't like our show.
And she doesn't really like our show either.
The Mall of America, excuse me. That would have been a fine if you had caught it.
Yeah, I did it. I'm tired. You'll get away with a lot today, man.
Yeah, you're not going to be as sharp as usual today.
I'm not sharp to begin with, but I'm telling you, today is struggle.
She also has neighbors on Radio Row that don't particularly like us very much, so she's kind of like,
Who are her neighbors? It's Stephen A. Smith, Will Cain?
No, they're sharing a table with us, but in the table directly next to her, which is about like 6 inches away because everything's right on top of each other, are Kirk and Callahan.
Oh, boy. Oh, we got to do something there.
Okay, yeah. We do have to make that as awkward as possible, right? How do we make that as awkward as possible? I don't mind feuding with those guys. What are we?
You've been feuding with them for years.
I know. I'm saying, what do we do?
Not that you've done anything. It's
what do we do there? What do we do? How do we have Allison bother them? How do we make this? How do we make this funny radio that's not too terribly uncomfortable for Allison?
It's a good question. Based on our history of execution, I'd say whatever we come up with probably won't get accomplished.
Well, okay, help me understand something, right? Help me understand something. Because, look, I don't claim to be a business impresario. I don't know how to lead. I don't know how to run a business. Can you guys explain to me why? Like yesterday, you saw the disaster of I can't get a website up and running a couple of days ago.
Right.
With a project that my brother and I are working on because I'm still 49 years old and I'm on AOL. So I can't get it. And so it's up. The website is up and running, but I'm asking you, we have a lot of people. You would agree that this is an unusual show in that we have a lot. I'm not even talking about the shipping container. The shipping container, you all know.
Yeah.
The contributions of the shipping container. I'm talking, we've got layers and layers of people working around our show, cameramen, production people.
Now, it's a big show. It's national and it's simulcast on TV. But back when I was an executive producer, I had a staff of one. That's it. I had one person. It was me and one other person working on the show.
We have got a fat situation here in every way when it comes to me. And what I'm asking you is, how is it possible at ESPN, without me sounding like I'm throwing a diva temper tantrum, how is it possible that we can't get a camera?
It seems odd, yeah.
Someone explain to me, am I missing something? In what world can we not get a camera to do stuff at Mall of the Americas? Like, how is that possible at the Disney company, at ESPN? They've got cameras, they've got sports, they've got money. How is that possible?
Mall of America.
What are they doing? They're limiting cameras?
You said Mall of Americas again after correcting
yourself.
yourself.
Nice. Good job, Michael.
I can tell you what I know. I can tell you what I know about the camera situation if you'd like to hear it on air.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
wait, you thought the mall was preventing us from bringing a camera into the mall?
I didn't know. I just asked the question, why can't we get a camera? And Mike said Mall of the America. And I'm like, okay, what did they do?
I said Mall of America.
Yeah, that's another one.
Fun.
Yeah. I mean, you're racking them up. Just stop saying the mall's name. I mean, just call it a mall. Yeah.
Okay, so this is how the disaster has started, or how we've gotten to where we're at. So we came up with things that we were going to do on the radio, and we were coming up with those last week, and these are things that we can do. Now, TV is different from radio, because radio you can kind of produce on the fly. TV, there's more things that go into it. So we had our radio staff there, so we thought, we'll do this, we'll do that. We reached out, we planned what we were going to do. We were fine with that. And then we said, well, this will look really good on TV also. We're on TV. We should get a camera there. We should work on that. Now, TV, you have to go through more hoops to get these things done. And by the time we got there, we found someone that was willing to do it. It was like this crew from like Wisconsin or something. But we were going to have to share them with NFL Live. And then that's when like the budget situation started happening. Then that wasn't going to work out, so we had a backup plan where we were going to use this other crew of cameras that ESPN is sending there. Because ESPN has scaled down who they're sending there, and cameras and personnel and all that is a lot scaled back this year. So we found another workaround where we're going to have this other set of cameras. All those cameras are being sent to do an Eagles press conference on Thursday, so that killed our cameras for Thursday.
All the cameras have to record Doug Peterson. Okay, because all of ESPN cameras have to go and get the most predictable of the content, and they're not going to help us and look.
You got to have Doug Peterson.
Hold on, because I don't want to turn this about ESPN has done plenty fine by us. This is the part I want to understand. And as an added bonus, none of our sound works today and the internet's down. So it's Wednesday, Super Bowl week. We're ready. None of the internet works except mine, and I don't want the internet.
Right. You haven't been on the internet in weeks, which is problematic.
But this is what I want to ask you because we can't get a camera. I had to make a phone call to a money guy, a bagman, an ESPN bagman. And the response I got is, if the children would listen to me, and I don't know who he's talking about. Who is that? Like who? It sounds like we could have had a camera and we didn't plan it properly, or Lorenzo didn't plan it properly, or Washington didn't plan it. Somebody didn't plan it properly. And what I'm learning lately in my life, because I'm a terrible leader, is that I'm not much of a planner. So if I don't plan it, and I expect others to plan it, a lot of things fall through the cracks in other places in my life that don't have anything to do with what we're talking about now.
I would say, and I mean, no one's going to find this interesting, and this is like a behind-the-scenes thing, I would say the biggest issue that we've had in terms of planning is that up until recently, we've functioned as two separate entities where we do all the radio stuff, TV does the TV stuff, and then there's the issue with how that crosses over and how that works. So we were planning strictly for radio and then tried to loop in TV, but it was too late in the process to make that happen.
Okay, so let's file it all under growing pains as we continue to be a flying saucer of BS and a marching band to nowhere.
I offered my personal camera.
I thought you were going to say I offered to juggle.
Yeah.
Okay, you offered your personal camera. That's probably not the high end of ESPN entertainment, but thank you for the offer.
But at least he made the offer.
It's more than anyone else has offered.
Credit, yeah.
We appreciate it. I don't know if we can connect the satellite to your handheld.
Right.
And it was yesterday after Allison was gone. So.
Right. Okay.
It's the thought that matters, though, Chris. I mean,
all right, hold on a second. Hold on. Everybody stop for a second. Juan, one of the many people who works around here, because we've got a lot of people working around here. Juan is here.
Allegedly working.
And when Juan is here,
yeah,
we all like to see Juan, but it means something's wrong.
Yep.
And so I want Juan to explain to us what's wrong. What are the difficulties as we head toward this slalom course that's going to be Super Bowl week beginning on Wednesday.
Yeah, big week.
This is where it starts, right? Like really,
Yes.
It's been remnants of Super Bowl week, but now it gets started today. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the guests are going to be flying through here. And the first thing I see is the smiling face of Juan when I come in here. And it's always a delight. I'm always happy to see the smiling face of Juan, except when Juan is here, it means we're about to fall into the sea. Like it means that that this entire studio is going to tilt into the Atlantic Ocean. So tell me, please, Juan, what is wrong today?
No, if you see me, it will not sink.
That's correct.
Right, you're here to save us from sinking.
Yes,
we're on the verge of sinking.
Listen,
yes.
Juan, I'm very much aware that you're the captain now.
Right.
I know.
You just have no internet access.
That's it?
That's it.
That's the only reason you're here?
Like
But
we
I
did
heard Mike
radio
didn't have
10
any
years ago.
access to sound.
Yeah, we don't have that either. Well, that's
That's part of the internet. That's part of the internet. Okay, so
and I believe part of the internet is also connecting with Allison out at Radio Row
okay.
and
So
all
wait
the
a
guests that
minute.
are
So
coming
wait a
on.
minute.
Right.
So wait a minute.
You actually might get your dream here where we can't even connect with any of these guests.
That'd be okay.
No, we actually did some troubleshooting, and we got Allison fed to Bristol, and our connection to Bristol is still working, so you can actually talk to Allison right now.
Hold on a second. I will in a second.
I don't think Dan wants the internet to work.
This is the question. Before I talk to Allison, this is the question I have that I want an answer to from everybody in the room. Chris, how many people work on this show? Just give me a number.
Like 14?
I think it's more than that. Billy, give me the number of people who work on this show.
Everywhere, I'd say like 22-ish.
I'm including Juan. I'm including Juan needing to be coming in here to fix things.
23-ish.
Then 23.
What would be your guess, Mike, on how many people work on this show?
Are we including stagehands from
Everything.
Regina?
Everybody.
Oh, that's sort of... I mean, the stagehands are great,
The
but...
things that get our show on television and the radio.
Does Myra count?
How many? Yes.
Makeup too.
How many people is that?
So we're probably in the upper 30s. Upper 30s.
Think about that. We're a show with 30 plus people working on it. We can't get a camera during the Super Bowl week or internet.
Yeah, Myra has nothing to do with the camera. She does makeup.
Or the internet, really.
I asked her to fix it. She didn't know what to do. There's really one person that can fix the internet.
Okay, but
Yes.
again, though.
One.
Well, is there one person that could fix the camera? That's what I would like to know who's responsible for the camera.
Hold on. Everyone slow down.
It's Charlie's fault.
By the way, we're not punting on the idea of mall fun just yet. It just won't be televised. We're still trying to push forward and make the fun happen.
Man, is this why your hair looks the way it does today?
I mean, there's so much going on.
Your hair looks poofy today. You look like you have stress hair.
And Dominique's crew, very nice, but oh my God, that could have been done in, an hour yesterday. Jeez.
Don't even get me started.
Well, hold on. All right, hold on a second. Well,
I don't blame anyone in Dominique's crew. It's all on Charlie.
All right, we'll get to the blame of Charlie in Washington in a second. And again, we're filing all of this under growing pains because Guillermo's reasoning is solid. We have, until now, radio worked as a separate entity. It was the seven of us, and everyone else just had to figure out a way to fit around us. And lately, there's been a change where we're trying to shift toward helping the other 23 people who work on this show.
Right.
Be more involved in what we're doing specifically on the radio.
Not really working out for us.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked out in anything good yet.
Seems like everything is the fault of the people working on the TV side.
No, wait, no.
Am I lashing out? I'm sorry.
No, that's not true. That's
Okay.
simply not true.
All right, sorry.
We have issues in planning issues in our system that Washington is. I would say this: Washington is a more professional outfit than we are.
Okay, I would say just about anything.
That's correct. But so I'm not putting anything on Washington. They're working like a normal business that works professionally and well together.
Right.
And makes very few mistakes. And when I reach out to a money bag man, he says, I don't know, the children won't listen to me.
I love the visual of an ESPN bagman.
There is. It's an older man, clearly. That's why he feels comfortable referring to 20 and 30-year-olds as children.
I feel like it's Sal Pal.
No. Sal Pal look like a bagman?
I think he does.
Yeah, absolutely does.
Yeah.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Does Sal Pal Antonio look like a bagman? Yes or no? Let's check in with Allison real quick. Allison is on Radio Row. She's suffering. She's miserable. What's the temperature today there on Radio Row, Allison?
Temperature outside?
Yes.
It's 25.
Okay, that's okay. That's manageable. Is it a feels like situation? Do you have a negative 10 feels like?
It feels like a little cooler, but it's not too bad. It's
Okay.
not too bad.
You're inside.
Where are you in terms of where are you physically and where are you mentally?
Oh, physically, I am at the Mall of America in that Radio Row, looking at a feud. There's like a feud. I think it's a Houston market. These two guys are feuding. It's insane. Like, I think they're going to fight. It's weird. And EI is on top. I mean, they could not be closer. I've never felt more daggers like thrown. It is so uncomfortable here. So, yeah. And I'm
Is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can do with you to make EEI uncomfortable?
I don't know. What?
Well, no, I was going to say that's tough because you're the one who is physically there and you would have to deal with the aftermath of whatever it is we do. I feel bad that Allison's sitting that close to them. She's feeling the daggers and we're not there to kind of help her out.
I mean, if I reach my hand out, I'd touch Kirk or Callahan or something.
Whichever one.
I also saw a photo of Allison's setup. It's not even like she can hide. There's giant, like, Dan Le Batard Show logos behind her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's very claustrophobic in Radio Row. It's usually spacious and roomy, and it's not.
Well, where are you near? Name something you're near that people would recognize in a mall.
Okay, so Moose Mountain. I don't know if you guys know what that is. That's a thing.
Is it a roller coaster?
Shake Shack. I think it's. Is it a roller coaster? I think
it's miniature golf or something.
Oh, miniature golf. Yeah. Shake Shack is behind me.
Nice.
Wait a minute. Put it on the poll there, Guillermo. Does it make any sense to call a miniature golf course Moose Mountain?
You can't do that yet.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, you can't put it on the poll. I can put it on the poll.
Yeah, you can put it on your disconnect from the internet on your phone and just use your cellular data.
It looks like there's a bakery right behind her, which would have made sense for us.
Bakery is right behind me.
What else? What about like mall
GNC.
staples? GNC?
There's one of those things, old time photos is right in front of me. There's a Sweet Jesus ice cream place. That's weird.
Are you what's your mood? Are you miserable? It's
hard to be miserable here because the people are really, really nice. The people are so nice. So, I get off the plane and I know Stugotz has talked about being in the middle seat. I was on the plane and I smelled something. It was so foul. And I looked to the left and there's this huge person next to me. He's eating a tuna sandwich, a warm tuna sandwich.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted
tuna
to,
melt.
I was livid for 4 hours. I was like, what kind of human being brings a tuna fish sandwich on an airplane?
Put it on the poll. What kind of human being puts a tuna fish sandwich on an airplane? Go ahead.
Is the answer yes or no?
No, an awful one or an evil one?
An awful person.
An awful one or an evil one are the choices.
And he was coughing, and I was like, this is a nightmare.
Nice.
I was next to the bathroom. Yeah, so I was livid. But when I got off the plane, everyone's so nice. Can I help you? Where do you need to go? So it was like hard to be annoyed when people are so sweet and nice.
Right. So you were sitting next to Don LaGreca?
Don Le Batard.
Kenny, how you doing today? Kenny. Waiting for Ken, trying to hook him up here. Ken, you with us? We'll try again. You guys got him?
Stugotz.
We'll take a quick time out. You guys figure it out. Goodbye.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
We do not have internet. We do not have sounds. We do not have the radio show that you're accustomed to. But Jason Witten is supposed to be here in 30 minutes as we continue. In
10 minutes, yeah.
He's going to be here in about 10 minutes, and we're going to continue to talk to these Super Bowl people. Now, Jason Witten is a star. He is someone that people care about. Is Jason Witten a star? He's a name that people recognize.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Is he?
Yeah. He's
a Hall
that
of
franchise's leading receiver.
Well, the reason I say is because I know I've read Bomani say a lot that Jason Witten gets a lot of credit for longevity. And I don't know what Bomani's arguments are on this. I just know that Bomani's less convinced than the rest of us that Jason Witten is a Hall of Famer. And so that's why I ask, is he?
I mean, he's 4th all-time in receptions.
Mm-hmm.
But Bomani, I'm guessing his argument is he's played so long. That's why he has those numbers.
And, yes, he's played a long time. And what is his average
but so is
yards?
Anthony Fasano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Anthony Fasano's not. Yes. Okay, Jason Witten is better than Anthony Fasano. Yes. But I think people think of Jason Witten in that top tier of tight ends ever, and I don't think of him that way. I think of him as a name I recognize and who is a very good tight end. I don't put him in the class. Do you? I put
of best tight ends of all time.
Shannon Sharp, Tony Gonzalez, Kellen Winslow Jr., Gronk.
Kellen Winslow Sr.
Kellen Winslow Sr., excuse me.
Yeah.
Is that a fine?
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, he's in my top 10. He's a top 10 tight end ever.
There's no scenario in which you're going to ask if it's a fine or not, in which we're going to say no.
Jason Witten is a top 10 tight end ever. Okay.
I don't know about that, Mike.
He's 4th all-time in receptions. He's had story franchise's leading receiver. He's had a better receiving career than Michael Irvin.
Yes.
Longevity.
Well, not just longevity. Look at their year by years. Like he was a part of that tight end revolution.
One of the things, Troy Aikman, the offense of the Troy Aikman Cowboys, all the numbers are really low. Like they're the number one receiver's numbers are low. Well, Emmett's numbers aren't low, but Troy Aikman's numbers aren't what you would think of championship quarterbacking.
I think this is the 3rd time we've ever had Jason Witten on the show. It's always been from Radio Row, and I never know what to expect. And he's a delight every time.
Mm-hmm. I'll ask him, I guess.
If he thinks he's a Hall of Famer?
Here's the thing. This is the part.
That won't go well.
I mean, do you guys mind calling Bomani? I don't know. I don't want to put him in a bad spot here. I just haven't looked at any of the numbers on why it is that he would be disputing the greatness of Jason Witten. And my guess is that he could give us some numbers that would explain why he's less high on Jason Witten than the rest of us are.
I mean, Jason Witten played, 14 years and had, 12,500 yards and 69 touchdowns. I mean,
nice.
And he's on everyone's top 10 list, right? For top 10 tight ends of all time. I just looked up a bunch of lists here. He's on everyone's list. I don't know if it's longevity or what it is, but he's had good numbers, Dan. I mean, he's right around 1,000 yards every year. He's had 4 years where he's eclipsed 1,000 yards.
10.8 yards per reception. He's very, very good. In fact, the fact that he's not so flashy actually probably hurts him.
I'm not arguing against him being very, very good.
Hall of Fame.
I'm wondering where the questions for Hall of Fame come from, because very, very good doesn't always get you into the Hall of Fame. Where the questions from Bomani come from.
This is a very strange way to sell a guest. Like normally you'd say Hall of Famer, Jason Witten, and you're like, eh.
He's about to be listening. I'm pretty sure he's listening. Let me check in with the line.
All right. Well, I'd like to talk to him about it. The line doesn't really work?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
He's getting his headsets on.
Oh, boy.
So the good news, he hasn't heard any of this yet.
But is anything working? Because I got nothing working here. I mean.
All right, he's there.
All right.
Very good. So Jason Witten.
Hall of
Famer Jason Witten with us on 790 The Ticket. Now, he has teamed up with Schwann's. We've enjoyed talking to this guy from Radio Row to let fans know they deliver the ultimate home meal advantage with foods that are easy to make for game day or any day. Now, I don't think of Witten as a wacky locker room personality. But, Jason, I want an honest answer from you here, and thank you for joining us, Hall of Famer Jason Witten. When I read home meal advantage, when I read that phrase that you've teamed up with Schwann's to let fans know they deliver the ultimate home meal advantage, are you going to go the sponsor route and tell me home meal advantage is a great phrase and I love it? Or are you going to tell me, come on, knock it off with the home meal advantage?
Knock it off there, Dan.
Oh, you're telling me to knock it off.
You're
telling me to knock it off with the home meal advantage, Jason. This is what you're selling?
Yeah, we had an opportunity. They came to Dallas, and we were able to take some meals over to some underprivileged families.
I ruined it now.
In Dallas.
I ruined it. Jason, you played the underprivileged families card on me. You win the argument. I will back off.
No, Witten played it perfectly.
He did.
Jason,
He really
I'm so
did.
proud of you. Dan, that's a fine.
It is a fine. You know what? I deserve a kangaroo court fine for blaspheming against underprivileged children.
This Hall of Famer is doing fantastic work off the field, and you have the nerve to criticize
Agreed.
him.
I'm sorry, Jason.
I accept your apology. How you guys doing this morning?
Excellent. Can you tell us a great Terrell Owens story?
one of my favorite ones. First off, he was a tremendous worker on the field, and he practiced so hard, and all of a sudden it was early on with Parcells, and I think he had kind of pulled up. He had a hamstring of some sort, and I think Bill had kind of Bill did that with everybody, but he had his way of getting into your head and letting you know that, hey, look, you need to get back out there and practice. And he was famous for these one-liners. Parcells was, and T.O. was a worker. I mean, when he went out to practice, he practiced hard. And so, anyways, he's down with this hamstring, and it kind of goes back and forth. And there's some conversations Bill and Terrell have. And so the next day out at training camp in California, and there's probably, 10, 15, 20,000 fans out there watching practice. They have the bikes on the side of the practice field. I'm sure you guys have seen those time to time. And T.O. walks out in straight, full Lance Armstrong outfit. And he had the yellow jacket, the yellow shirt on, had the helmet, the whole bit, right? And Bill had this whole thing that, when you were practicing, you still had to do stretch, and you had to wear your jersey, and you went on the side with the coach, and then you watched practice, and T.O. comes out, and the crowd's screaming, and Bill looks over and sees him in this Lance Armstrong outfit. And, I couldn't help but laugh as that unfolded, and I'm sure there was some clever conversations those two had after that
great.
One.
So see it.
Whose side do you take in that circumstance? Because it can be difficult. Who do you? Your laughter suggests you take T.O.'s side.
I just thought it was so funny because, it'd be one thing, just because, how Bill is. I mean, he always felt like you needed to be out there. I mean, I broke my jaw, and, the next day he was like, Mark Bavaro came back. And
no.
You can always pull the Bavaro card out.
Yeah. He didn't do that to you.
Dan, I'm telling you, he is legendary. Parcells will always pull out the Bavaro card and the Phil McConkey card.
He literally told me that Bavaro broke his jaw and finished the game, because I didn't finish the game. I missed 1 week and came back the next. It's the only game I've missed in my entire career. And Bill's getting on me because Bavaro would have played through it, or he did play through it.
Yeah, that's Dwayne Parcells for you, man. Dwayne Parcells.
Dwayne, do you know that his name is Dwayne? His name is not Bill. Are you aware, Jason, that his name is actually Dwayne? Yes or no?
I did not know that. It just doesn't sound the same.
It doesn't
have the same bite.
That's right. Yeah, you're so right. Witten, tell me something. I want an honest answer to this question. Is it even funnier if Terrell Owens comes out in full Lance Armstrong outfit to Dwayne Parcells? If he does that to Dwayne Parcells instead of Bill?
Hey, listen, Dwayne does not have the same swag as Bill.
I know, he does not. He does not.
Jason, it's interesting. We're talking about Terrell Owens. And I heard people say the reason he's not in the Hall of Fame was because he's a bad teammate. He was bad in the locker room. Did you like T.O.?
Yeah, I enjoyed playing with Terrell. I mean, I think he was very competitive. And, down the stretch there was times where, I think everything just – there was opinions and he had different thoughts on, why we weren't winning or what was taking place. And, I just think it was clear for all of us that, now's not the time for us to – figure out, what needs to take place or, what the reason why and how come this didn't happen or that didn't happen. It's really just hey, we got to get back on track. And but I did enjoy playing with him. Tremendous player. Certainly believe he's a Hall of Famer and has shown that over the course of his career.
Again, Jason has teamed up with Schwann's to let fans know they deliver the ultimate home meal advantage with foods that are easy to make for game day or any day. Where do people have to go, Jason, to help you here?
Yeah, they can just check out schwans.com. And, like I said, for every new order, they're doing donating $5 to Food Bank here in Minneapolis. Good stuff going back to the community.
I'm curious, Jason Witten, again, with us on ESPN Radio. What is the time that Jason Witten found himself in the locker room with a teammate, and I don't mean to attach this to the T.O. questions, where you weren't, it might be Greg Hardy, it might be someone else, where you were just like, man, I don't love having to play with this guy. Does that ever happen?
Well, I don't know that ever happens. I mean, I feel like I can get along with just about anybody. And, I think in pro ball, it's not, there's this assumption that maybe you got to walk around like choir boys holding hands all the time. And that's not the case. I mean, there's a commitment to be your best and to play at a high level. And, the job of leaders is to make that environment as professional as you can, all steering in the right direction for us to be at our best and compete for a championship. And so I've never really allowed different personalities or any of that or I've tried not to allow it to affect you.
But I'm wondering, Jason, as a leader, forgive me for the interruption, I'm wondering as a leader if you ever find yourself in positions where you have to do deeply uncomfortable things. You can't be a innocent bystander where you have to go and personally confront the situation. Can you give us Can you give us that story? You don't have to give us the names, but give us that story where Jason Witten has to be rabid leader and he doesn't care about somebody's feeling.
Oh, I mean, it happens every week. You know what I mean? It's you always are having uncomfortable conversations where, whether a guy's not working, where the guy's, you don't feel like he's playing at the level that he needs to play at, or just he's not preparing, he's not doing all the details that are going to allow his team to win. Coaches are going to handle a lot of that, but really, it's players' job to kind of, say it how it is and to get it kind of steered in the right direction. And I think the only way you do that is just honest communication, direct. Some would say confront or having confrontational conversations, but I feel like that's always happening, and that's what allows you to be successful, because too many things happen. It's too hard. This league's too hard to overcome things when you're just kind of, how do you say it, just, all mushy and conversation.
Has a teammate ever had to do that to Jason Witten? Has a teammate ever had to tell Jason Witten you're not working hard enough or anything like that? Anything in that realm?
No, I that would never happen as
what
far
are you talking about,
how to prepare but
Jason
there's certainly been my fair of mistakes and things that I've done wrong, and guys that hey, early on, hey, come on, man, get it going, get your confidence back.
Okay,
all those kind of conversations.
Okay, you dropped the ball once with a broken jaw.
Right.
You dropped the ball once with a broken jaw, and they left you alone because, except for Dwayne Parcells, who reminded you that Mark Bavaro played through a broken jaw.
No, I've had my fair share of drops, too. So, hey, look, it's never perfect out there. It's always, there's just – people don't often talk about this, but I think when you look at New England, one of the things that I respect most about them is – and I found this in my own career – is like the secrets. Everybody's always talking about the secrets. And really, guys, the secret's in the dirt. The secret's doing it over and over and over again, right? And there's I saw a video a few years back of Belichick on the elliptical at 4:30 with a 5x7 note card and a highlighter, drawing route concepts. How many times you think you've seen a post with a corner route in behind it and a fullback into the flat? He's done it. He can do it in his sleep, but he's literally on the elliptical drawing these 5x7 note cards because that's where the secret is. And for players, it's the same thing. It's doing it, lining up, working your technique fundamentals over and over and over and over again. And, some guys make it look easier than others, but that's what allows you to have success in this league as an individual and as a team.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is the secret in the dirt? And
if Witten says it
is,
Jason
Witten. Jason Witten loves saying that phrase.
Jason,
it is a great phrase.
Yes.
Jason, you're right. The secret is in the dirt, right? Like that. You loved saying that.
Yeah, well, I think that's just how it. Yeah, I agree with you. I do, because I think oftentimes people are like, well, how do you play that long? And, how do you do these different things? And, that's it. That's New England's – that's their recipe, They do it better than everybody else. You know what I mean?
I'm curious. Jason with us on ESPN Radio. He's teamed up – Jason Witten. He's teamed up with Schwann's to let fans know they deliver the ultimate home meal advantage with foods that are easy to make for game day or any day. Go to schwanns.com if you want – more information on this. Let's have the discussion with him. Don't be polite, Jason. Don't say, I'm just honored to be considered with people. We want to know if you think you're a Hall of Famer. Can you not do the modest thing, the humble thing, and just tell us the truth about what you think there?
Well, that would... isn't it a little bit arrogant to have that conversation?
But I'm offering you on the front end. I'm forcing you to answer this question, and I'm telling you can't answer it with the typical football player modesty. Aw shucks, Jason Witten.
I'm also telling you, Bavaro would never answer this question.
That's right. Here's the deal, and to be honest with you, I think that I don't the formula to me is the tight ends, there's been so few of them that have done it, right? And so statistically, yeah, you feel like you match up or you're in good shape when you look who the guys that have gotten in at your position. But I mean, the game's different as well. And so, honestly, guys, I've this year when I went and Jerry got inducted, you know, and it was kind of the first time that ever hit me that I was like, man, there's a chance. I don't know how good, but there's a chance that could potentially maybe happen one day. And I was just like, when I was sitting in the room with all the busts, you know, we kind of did the tour as a team and doing the whole deal of the Hall of Fame. I just thought, like, literally, like, how special would that be? I mean, these guys, because not because any other thing of, you know, being the best of the best or anything like that, but really just I have so much passion and love for the game, and some of those guys, I believe every one of those guys in those busts, you know, they each have a story of why they made this game better, and you know, you guys get to talk about it for a living, I get to play it, and you know, just to be mentioned with it, I don't know if I'll have a chance at it or not, but
you did the damn thing that I told you not to do, and I'm going to cut you off now. Just stop talking. Just stop talking.
Yeah, and you think he's a Hall of Famer?
That's not a good question. This is.
Well, I think they have to get to, you know, what they did in the NFC Championship was they were always had the chess piece last, in that they
love that. I love that. No, that's just great. I'm not laughing at you. I love you. We love you. We love.
No, I'm serious.
No, they have the chess piece last. You're absolutely right. Have the key to the game is have the chess piece last.
Chess piece is dirt.
Meaning this, they have so many answers within those RPOs. You guys are familiar with that, run pass options. With that system that Doug's brought in, it allows them to. They're constantly ahead of you. You know, so as soon as that linebacker comes in, they pull the dive, they hit Ertz in behind it. And so that's what allows this guy to, you know, complete 27 to 32 passes or something like that, because he's always staying ahead of it. And I believe if they can do that, they'll make enough big plays to give themselves a chance to win it, because I think their defense is really, really good too.
Jason Witten, he's teamed up with Schwann's to let fans know they deliver the ultimate home meal advantage with foods that are easy to make for game day or any day. We enjoy our annual Super Bowl conversations with you, sir. Thank you for making time for it.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jason.
Dan Le Batard.
Seriously, like, how many times have I told you that it's perfectly okay to criticize somebody's behavior, but that calling people names is not the way to go?
Stugotz.
How many times have I told you I don't care?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Help me out here, Stugotz, on something, because Greg Cody of the Miami Herald wanted to come on with us in the local hour to discuss the passing of longtime Miami Herald columnist Bob Rubin, a guy that Greg Cody and I grew up admiring as a writer, passed away yesterday at the age of 76. And I was thinking to myself, that's terrible. I feel sad. I don't think that the radio audience wants that or has any idea necessarily who I'm even talking about. But the reason I bring it up is, as you age and athletes get further and further from their prime, they become less interesting to talk to or be heard from on the radio. Like the radio listener doesn't want to hear about the old timer. And so what I want to ask you, we're being offered Dan Marino at 10:30. You know how I feel about A, quarterbacks disguising their personality.
Right.
And B, interviewees who we're having on because they're famous, not necessarily because. Now, I've got questions for Marino.
Sure.
But I'm curious, given the tension around this show, I am curious whether our audience wants to hear from Dan Marino. And I don't say this in any way to disparage Dan Marino. I think I might be wrong on this one. I think Dan Marino is going to be someone like Dwayne Wade, that 15 years from now, if Dwayne Wade's coming on the radio, that's still someone. I think I'm wrong on this one.
I think down here in this market, there is never a time where you could bring on Dan Marino and it will be rejected by the audience, ever. I think they will always have a craving, a want for Dan Marino.
But the reason I asked the question, and okay, we'll do that at 10:30.
And you love bringing Miami to the national show.
That's fine. And I'm happy to do it. But the reason that I ask you the question is because if I told you right now Don Shula was coming on, does the audience all want to hear, or not all of them, but does the majority of the audience want to hear that?
I think so. A majority, yeah. I mean, he's a bit older. But yeah, I think a majority would like to hear
Where
that.
do I have to put the age on these things so that we don't become the radio show that is doing the old things? Because talking to Marino in Montana at the Super Bowl is about as cliche as you could possibly go.
It is. Are you looking for a name, or are you just looking for a number? Like, what?
No, I'm trying to figure out how I'm wrong on this one, right? Because Dan Marino, I've always found Dan Marino to be challenging as an interview. One of the first ESPN interviews I ever did was with Dan Marino at the height of his powers, just talking to him about his stats, and it was very hard to make television with Dan Marino.
Well, you see, I think that can go either way. I think the further you are from your playing career, I've seen this with guys where they're more willing to say stuff because they have less and less to protect.
Okay.
You know? I'm not saying that's the case for Marino. I'm just saying I've noticed that with certain...
Look, man, I embrace the challenge of trying to get the interesting thing out of a person who is guarding against the interesting thing. But in my career, very few people have guarded against the interesting thing better, more successfully than Dan Marino. He gives interviews. I was stunned that Dan Marino became a television broadcaster because he was such a reticent interview during his career.
But to Stu's point, there are two people in the history of this sports market down here that you have to say yes to anytime they're available. It's Dan Marino and Dwayne Wade. Forever.
I think 3, Mike. I think Riley would be another one.
Yeah, I guess
Shula's
since Riley really, when people think back on Pat Riley, they're going to think Lakers.
All right.
We're probably the second stop on Riley's
history. Is that the list,
train.
though? Is that the list? For our audience, doesn't matter what age, what time, the only 2 guys in the history of South Florida that you stop what you're doing and you talk to them if they become available are Dan Marino and Dwayne Wade?
How about Jimmy Johnson?
I don't think so.
I think there are 2. There are 2. And I don't even have interest in finding out a third. It's that cut and dry for me.
But help me.
LeBron?
Yeah.
No. I mean, LeBron's another stratosphere. Like, if Michael Jordan played a season with a Miami
LeBron's
Heat,
not associated with Miami. LeBron spent 4 years in Miami. LeBron is associated with Cleveland. Dwayne Wade and Dan Marino are linked to Miami. But I remember noticing for the first time while covering football, the observation came to me, these quarterbacks are protecting against saying anything interesting to any question. I learned this early in my journalism career because of Dan Marino. So my distaste for the coach and quarterback interview comes from that.
He's the source.
It comes from a guy who's playing defense against actually revealing anything about himself.
Right. I think you should have that conversation with him, though. I think you should tell that.
You
to
think
him.
that's a funny conversation?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Just to say, Dan, why during your playing days were you on purpose such a terrible interview?
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't think he was a terrible interview, though.
Oh, he knows. No, he knows. He does. Listen, he delivers whatever he's saying, he delivers it well. He just doesn't say anything.
Because honestly, I want to talk to Dan Marino about nothing but, Ace Ventura.
Right.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, get
talk
a good
about how he doesn't
story.
reveal much in interviews, and also work in Nutrisystem.
Yeah. He'll work it in.
Is that what he's?
Of course
selling?
it is. Yes, just lost 30 pounds.
He lost another 30 pounds?
He's perpetually losing 30 pounds. Hey, Marino. I love that commercial. That's a classic commercial. Shula. Hey, Marino.
Yeah. Right around the holiday season at Super Bowl, where everyone is gaining weight and just shoving food in their mouth, Marino annually is just losing weight.
I feel like Dan Marino's been skinny all his life.
Maybe he's putting on the weight now just to lose. Maybe he puts on 30 pounds like in February for Nutrisystem so he can say, I just lost 30 pounds.
Can't wait to have him.
He can't wait to have him to ask Nutrisystem questions. Do you want to ask him what is the most delightful Nutrisystem thing that you eat? Like, what is the one thing that is your decadence?
Oh, it's that pasta with the meat sauce. I did Nutrisystem. Marino sold me on Nutrisystem. He did. Remember? I think we went to Capitol Grill and I bought a Nutrisystem dinner with me.
Didn't Marino make Nutrisystem?
Yeah, like he made it a thing. And he has stats. Apparently men don't start their diet until after the Super Bowl, while women start after the New Year.
What? Would it be funny to ask Dan Marino only questions about Nutrisystem?
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
He'll love that, mutters Guillermo.